very much for your opening statements. We have a series of 3 or 4 questions that we're just going to kind of go down the line and ask you to answer. And I'm just going to go ahead and move down the line here. So we'll start with Ms. Frank on the first question here. Then we'll go to Mr. Rohr, Mr. Herauf, and Mr. Serhienko, and then we'll just rotate on through. So the first question we have tonight for you is, what are your ideas for a strong business community, and what is the city's role in economic development?
You know, my suggestions for a strong business community, and I think this transcends the business community and it goes to the community as a whole, whether it's families or tourists or anybody who is frequenting our town, is the fact that people need to be educated and they need to be informed. The one thing that's continued to shock me as I answer questions from constituents and look into things is the amount of resources that are available. It just takes a little uncovering. And so I think what's key and crucial to a successful business community is all of the people that are represented in businesses around town understand what's currently available and that we use what we've got. There's a lot of feedback that I'm getting from residents that are tired of handouts or don't want to give away any more money than they need to. And I really don't think it's necessary at this point, considering all of the offers that are available for current businesses. So again, informing the community, the business community, what's available for them. And I think the other thing is just encouraging some community pride. One thing that's really exciting for Mandan right now is the Mandan Tomorrow program. The Mandan Tomorrow strategic plan is broken up into 4 different categories. And there's one that's specifically addressing pride, and there's another that's addressing development. And so it's going to be exciting to see what they come out with. But I think having pride in the community, thinking about Mandan first, and again, providing that information to businesses to take advantage of the incentives that are available will help build business.
It's my belief that the city must provide an environment that attracts businesses, and that's first beginning with providing good police and fire protection, good schools, an attractive community where people come in and see whether it's a clean community, where they can feel safe in that community, where they can raise their kids in that community, and live and retire in that community. So we have to provide that type of environment, and I think that is first most in looking at this. And then we have to be cautious in using tax incentives to attract businesses and manufacturing. It's just not a freelance thing. You have to be careful in how you're using taxpayers' money in that. It's my personal belief anyway that the city should not be a bank or an investor for a business. You know, bankers and investors are out for that, but we should provide certain things without being overly involved. And I used to read a lot of the government magazines, and I recall cities that went too far overboard, provided infrastructure for businesses, and 2 or 3 years later they were gone, and the city was left with a large infrastructure to maintain, and we definitely don't want to do that. And so we have to use, you know, caution in attracting businesses with our money, and we don't want to do it to really compete with long-standing businesses either. That could be a problem. If we pull people in, we have businesses that compete with people that have been around here a long time paying taxes. That creates conflict, and we have to be careful there as well. So I look at the downtown area and I look at the strip. We've made a lot of improvements. I just love where we're going in the last few years. And I've seen the plan for the strip, which is very encouraging. And we have to look to see as a whole. I was thinking for a while there, I went to many meetings, and I was thinking that the mentality was there's a 4-block area down on Main Street and nothing else existed in the rest of the city for a while. And there's a lot more to the city of Mandan in terms of development than just a central downtown area. We have to look at it holistically.
Thank you. Let me go ahead and repeat the question, Francis, for you. What are your ideas for a strong business community, and what is the city's role in economic development?
Well, I kind of agree with Dennis right here, but with our development, if we get more development in Mandan, I think we could drop our taxes too. And that should be one of our goals. Because people, all I hear about people when I talk to them is, our taxes are too high. And to get development in Mandan, we could drop our taxes. And that's one of the goals that I think we should need, is a good development of business
I'm not actually sure I'd eat one of these, but would you please repeat the question?
Yeah, I can. What are your ideas for a strong business community, and what is the city's role in economic development?
Okay, that's a really good question. First of all, the city has a very major role to play in the development of the business community downtown. There are people who say you shouldn't give handouts, you shouldn't be helping businesses get started, but when you look at a downtown that has been basically decimated by a rebuilding process of the main street, remedial effort of the oil and so on and so forth, many of the businesses were barely hanging on, and finally one thing after another took them out. So it's up to the city of Mandan to help this thing get started. There are a lot of things that you can do that aren't major gifting. For example, maybe a little rent subsidy to help a business get off the ground. Sometimes all they need is just a little help to get going. The entrepreneurs are there. It's just to get them into the doors and get them started is what you need to do. I don't know that I would consider full-blown, all-out loans to these things, but I think that a certain amount of help is necessary to at least get things growing. It's like starting the grass. You've got to get it growing, and then eventually it takes over by itself. So that's really what you need to look at. And I think the city would play a pretty major role, but again, you need to identify what you are in relationship to the whole area. And it's not a secret that Mandan is basically a bedroom community of Bismarck. So the businesses that we pursue probably should be businesses that Mandan would and could support. And I think that that's where we really need to put our efforts. As far as big box stores, that would be really nice to happen. But I think it would be better for Mandan if we could get businesses downtown where you could probably go down and buy a shirt. As it is now, I don't know, I think you have to go out to the strip or something like that. But it would be nice to see these kind of things happen, and that's where the city can make a difference.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll move to our next question. And